Hello, video request, video request. Okay. Video request. Oops, Isaac Newton next time. Back pain, all part of Isaac Newton. Happy or most joyous. I just did that. Okay. Here, video request. Okay. Do you ever feel sad when you compare yourself with old friends or acquaintances who have had greater amount of success in society? Say, for instance, if an ex-girlfriend gets a high-paying job and marries a rich dude and they live in a mansion and you bump into them at a supermarket at some place random, and perhaps it may be easy to know that it's bullshit on a spiritual or philosophical level, but do you ever feel pretty jealous or ego-driven? Competitiveness with others nonetheless. Yeah, I'm super competitive, but the kind of competitiveness that I have is not the comparing competitive, or no, it's not the competitive where you have to, in order for you to be well, other people have to be lower, like a tournament, like in a tournament, at the end of the day, you have to have, the pecking order has to be winners to losers, like the loser can't brag about anything, unless I guess they get a bunch of goals, but if they get a bunch of goals, then they're not going to lose the game, Whereas if you're going to have the other kind of competition of like a race, for example, you could look at that instead of first, second, who won and who got last, you could look at it more of how many of our team members, how many of our people in the race were we able to get in the, the level, under a certain level of physical fitness, and if you get them, so for example, if you have like the 100-mile race and everybody completes it in under the 12 hours, then it's a success, and everybody's successful and everybody is a winner, because it's kind of like the horde, everybody survived the battle, everybody, because even the guy who got last can even brag because he's a badass and he finished it. And, at least, and he probably was just behind the guy who was in front of him. And so he was probably helping the guy who was in front of him too, because they were drafting off each other. And, but you're still competing with each other because you're still doing as good as you possibly can. Which is a good thing and everybody wants, because the better that you do for yourself, the better you're going to do for everybody else in a race, because, the faster you can go, the faster they can draft behind you. And so then at the end of the day, you check your time, and you can do that with yourself. You can compete against yourself with like time trials and stuff. And so that's the kind of competitiveness I am. And so, and of course, yeah, I don't like to get second or lose and stuff, obviously, but if I do get second to somebody, I tell myself it's probably because they just trained harder than me, So, and if I want to be better, then you better train harder. But so I don't look at the world that way. So I wouldn't have like I'm going to compare myself with somebody else. And even if I was going to compare myself with a friend or acquaintance, especially an ex-girlfriend, why would you not want that person to be successful? Like, wouldn't you be happy? I mean, it's kind of like what I was saying before. If you're in the race, don't you want everybody to finish in under 12 hours? If you see one of your acquaintances, your friend, and they're married with 3 kids and they have a job and a house, you should be like, okay, good. That person cleared it. That person made it. And that person's good. Because you want to think about all your friends and acquaintances like you're a team, and it's like you guys against the next town over, or you guys against, the other country, you know what I mean? And so you want everybody to do well, because that means that you're a unit, because you can look at yourself as an identity, as a group. Your unit, your group is healthy, and so that's good. And so, yeah, to be like pissed off about somebody doing bad, even if it's somebody you don't like, you should be happy that they're doing well, because it's like they, it's like they picked themselves up and they turn themselves around, and the better they do, the better you're going to do as a society. So. But yeah, it is kind of an interesting question to ask me, because I'm 40 years old, and I'm 41, and that's kind of the age where I guess people. It's one. Heard it from astrologists. It's one revolution of the Saturn, and Saturn is the big like Earth planet, the big life planet, and I'm a Capricorn, so Saturn rules my. And so it goes around every 40 years, and so once it goes around 40 years, it's like you've lived one life, and so it's kind of like being reborn. And I think, and I've heard like you're kind of like a child your first 40 years, and then you're like an adult your second 40 years, and so as I round the 40-year mark, I had been by myself a lot, and smoking a lot of weed, and so I have a lot of time to reflect on my life, and so which gives me a lot of opportunity to do what you're talking about, comparing yourself with other people in society. Yeah, so I wouldn't compare myself with a friend or acquaintance any more than I would compare myself with anybody who I don't know. Okay, so here, let's just finish the question and then I'll continue. Yeah, so she has a rich dude, has the mansion, and you bump into them. Well, you know what would be, I mean, if you have a bad relationship with the ex-girlfriend and she's like smirking at you like, aren't you, aren't you, like, I'm so, glad I left you or whatever, you loser or whatever, if she had that idea, yeah, that would be annoying, but I wouldn't have an ex-girlfriend. I wouldn't have a girlfriend who would be mean like that. So I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. Okay, and perhaps it may be easy to know that it's bullshit on a spiritual or philosophical level, but do you ever feel pretty jealous or ego-driven competitive with others nonetheless? Do I ever get jealous? That's a good question. There are certain holes in my life, Everybody has certain holes in their life. Like with some, certain things that they didn't accomplish, Little, like open your own business and be the boss of a bunch of people or whatever like that. Like certain experiences, that you didn't have. Like, what that would be one experience that I didn't have. What would be another experience that I didn't have? I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I do have some regrets. Like, when I was like 13, I started having these really hard like knee pain in my knees, and my knees like bumped up in the front, and so we went to the physical therapist, and they said that I had Osgood-Schlatter and I couldn't do anything involving running until I was like full grown. But anyways, so I stopped riding or riding bikes, and I even stopped skiing. They said, they said to stop skiing. Anyway, I think my parents really had enough money to like have my brother on the ski team. But yeah, I quit skiing. I was on the ski team, and then I quit. And then so I didn't run. I was on the track team in 7th grade, and then I wasn't on the track team in 8th or 9th. Wasn't on anything, 10th or 11th grade, until 12th grade, and I regret that. And I kind of blame my parents a little bit for because they told me to, and for the person. I don't think it was necessary. Well, maybe the running part. Yeah, the running, sure, but I don't think it was necessary to quit skiing. I didn't. That was stupid. That was like, yeah, I should have fought against that one. That's a regret. And also, yeah, in the bike racing, I quit bike racing, road bike racing. So I didn't do I could have done the Red Zinger 2 more years. And then I could have done the licensed bike racing. I did a couple of them, but yeah, I kind of missed that. And what would be yeah, and I'm not that social, I could have been more social. Those are some regrets. And so I guess if you look at people who had a lot of that, you could have jealousy about those people, but I don't have jealousy. I don't feel any of that jealousy. Because I've had a pretty good life. I've had a pretty easy life. And I've had like all the different things that have gone through, all the different episodes that I've had in my life were different from each other. and they lasted for the perfect amount of time to keep my life really interesting. And my childhood was good too. I mean, I hung out with my parents a lot. I don't regret that. You know, like I hung out with my dad a lot more than I would have if I'd have done all those things I just said. And he died when I was 23, so I hung out with him plenty. You know, so I knew him. But so that would be the only time. But I don't have those feelings about other people. Anyway, sorry for getting sidetracked, but I just wanted to answer the question. Okay. So, yeah. So do I get jealous? Okay, comparing myself to other people. So let's compare myself in terms of success to other people, because I think, you know, when you get this age, you're going to stack yourself up against other people. You're going to stack yourself up against the world. You're going to decide where you are at in the world, who you are in the world. Like what's my career? Yeah, when I look about myself, I don't. I see myself in a pretty good, not a pretty good. I see myself in a pretty much the best position you could possibly be in. You know, because right now I have a really good life. I have a lot of spare time to work on my website, and it's really interesting. And I'm being fulfilled in all of the ways that you could be fulfilled. My definition of success is fulfillment. You know, when somebody says success, you know, who's the best successful? You know, a lot of people. I was talking about this in the other video. You know, we live in a decadent society, so money, it's all about money, 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 and people don't realize that if that's all you care about and society collapses, it has to be about growth and change and evolution. And yeah, so if you think, I lost my train of thought. So anyway, if you're all about money, then yeah, a lot of people think that success is all about money. But I think that success is all about fulfillment. Fulfillment is that thing that is where somebody feels fulfilled. They feel like they're, I'm going to unplug this thing. They feel like they're, yeah, they feel like they're utilizing all of their talents, their God-given abilities to the best of their talents, you know, like a 12-cylinder Ferrari is using all 12 cylinders of its cylinders, and it's well oiled, and it's going down an autobahn, you know, that's appropriate for it. You know, is going to be a lot happier than a 12-cylinder Ferrari with only 5 cylinders going. You know, and a 4-cylinder Pinto is going to be a lot happier than a 5-cylinder Ferrari. That you know, sell 12-cylinder Ferrari with only 5 cylinders going, even though it's a little bit faster than a Pinto, it's not fulfilled. It's not living the life that it's supposed to be living. And so we all have a different level of what we need to be doing to be fulfilled. And so my definition of what makes somebody the most fulfilled, for the most, you know, intelligent, the most driven of us, who can, I guess, are capable of experiencing the most amount of joy. I think the most driven are the most capable of experiencing the most amount of joy. But you know, people who aren't driven are also capable of experiencing joy when they're just hanging out. But anyway, that is. Oh my God! I just talked myself into losing my train of thought. Got sidetracked and losing my train of thought. When you're fulfilled, you're utilizing all of your strength. So you're like, you know, you're out there. You're like a wild animal out there running around. You know, you're not like a caged lion. You're like a wild lion, and so. You know, for example, I was thinking about, somebody died base jumping, and I saw in the newspaper, so I looked in the internet, and I became interested in people dying base jumping, and I became morbid, and I was watching videos of people dying base jumping, and looked at the death list of the base jumpers, and you know, you see these base jumpers, and they've got these big old smiles, and they're full of life, and you're like, and you know, a lot of people have talked trash about those people, like, what idiots, you know, but if you think about it, that the kind of base jumper type of personality could be a certain type of personality, a certain type of person who have those kinds of lives every single life. Like that's how they are, and they never die. They always die young, and so they had to do it. And other people don't understand them because they're a different order of person, because they don't understand that that's the way that reincarnation works. There's people who just live a certain way for maybe a long time, however many lives, and then and see, there's just so many different kinds of people. And so, but those people could be very happy because they never experience the pain of agony of being caged and locked and trapped and afraid. And because if you're feeling caged and locked and trapped and afraid and frustrated, the longer you're feeling like that, you're accruing karma, you're accruing negative karma, you're accruing negative emotions kind of getting packed in. Toxicity packed in, kind of like toxicity passing your body if you're sitting around. Well, you can get toxicity packed in your soul if you're just sitting around, getting beat over the head and pushed around. And then you die, and then you get reborn again. Those are going to be your memories, you know what I mean? Like, because you remember your past lives the same way you remember your current life. And so you want to have a happy childhood so that when you're an adult, you have happy memories to fall back on instead of bad memories. And so it's the same thing reincarnationally. You want to have happy memories. And so those people who always die young, they always have the happy memories, because the part of them dying was only like 1 second, That wasn't enough to get ingrained into their reincarnational memory. So in that way you could look at that as being a more fulfilled, more happy person. It's kind of related to I was listening to Herodotus' Histories, and Solon was this wise man from Athens. Athens fell into a state of a period of decay, where there was gangsters fighting each other, and then so they finally had a Draco make his laws, but they were too strict, so it only lasted 10 years, and then they got a new guy, Solon, to make the good laws. And then he left so that they wouldn't turn him into like a god or whatever, and just follow the law. And he went to Lydia, and so he was all wise, and so King of Lydia was supposed to be the richest. Croesus was the richest man in the world, and so there was even a saying like as rich as Croesus, as fortunate as Croesus, because I guess Lydia was a very healthy, happy country, good fields. So Croesus is all, hey Solon, who's the most happy, fortunate? And Solon is all, oh, I know. The brothers Jimmy and Judson. And he's like, what, who? Jimmy and Judson? He's like, yeah, Jimmy and Judson. Now what they're talking about is the most fortunate, which is what you're calling success and which I'm calling fulfilled. So he goes, yeah, why? Because those guys, grew up strong, healthy, strong, helping their father in the fields, and then they had beautiful children and wives, and then when they were invaded by the whoever the fuck, they died in glorious battle. And so according to Solon, and he was like the big wise man. According to everybody, people who get attacked and killed are the happiest because they died in glorious battle. It's kind of like Valhalla. The Vikings. Like, oh, I saw Viking. Remember Vikings, the TV show? I saw it on Stars before my mom canceled it. And like he's about to go on expedition to England, and there's the old man. He's like, "Please take me, please. I don't want to fucking live here anymore." He's like, "Okay." And they're fighting. And the old man gets stabbed, and he falls down. He's like, "Valhalla." Like that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to die in battle, man. And that was real. That shit was real, man. Because they believed in reincarnation, and the humans are very emotional, and we're very proud, and we have powerful egos, and we're living beings, and we don't like getting pushed around, and but that's what happens, man. Mother Nature pushes you around, and Mother Nature pushes humans around, which causes them to push other humans around, which makes humans pissed off and makes them fight, man. We're feisty fighters, and people who get enslaved and lick the bootstraps of other people lose their dignity and become sad, and then if that happens over and over, it could, like I said, create negative karma. And so they had an understanding that, yeah, die fighting, go out strong, and then you will have memories of being strong. Like, it's kind of like, there's like the young punk, he's all young punk because he never got his ass kicked, and then you beat his ass, and then he's like all shy and like meek or whatever. Well, somebody who dies in battle every time, they're never going to get beaten into submission and be shy and meek, because they're not going to. They're like I said, their only memories of themselves about dying and battle and fighting. Like somebody becoming beaten down would be somebody who maybe that's not a good. Like they don't. Because now the person has the memory of being beaten down, like. And then they have to like remember it again. They have to have it in the car. Oh, if I'm a dick to him, then maybe he'll yell at me like the other person yelled at me. I don't want to be yelled at, So then, but you're not going to have those memories if you're always dying young and fighting. But if you're living your whole fucking life being afraid and running and staying alive and running, and worrying and being stressed, and you have life after life after life like that. People always draw on their past lives in a subconscious way, and that's going to just tie into and make a kind of who you are. And so anyway, so the most fulfilled person would be somebody. So that's kind of like one example of how I can say most fulfilled person maybe there's the people who die young base jumping are actually a little bit better off than you might think, because they're not accruing negative karma. Now, okay, so but let's compare me to like fulfilled people, different people who would, okay, battery's going down, who would be considered fulfilled. Oh yeah, but I consider myself fulfilled because I gotta find. Okay, hang on, I gotta find where this thing is plugged in. All right, could have sworn that was the one. Thought I looked at it and it wasn't there. Okay. Yeah, so the most fulfilled person is somebody who's always extending and exercising and going and using all of what they've been given to their maximum potential. And so but I feel like I'm using my maximum potential. I have to work, but I don't have to work like so much that I feel like I'm always working. When I work, I kind of, I don't exercise at all. So when I work, that's my exercise. So I'm kind of like, because I ride my bike out there and I'm watching windows, so I'm exercising, and I'm out in the sun, and then I come home, and then I go to work on my website. And so it's like the whole time I'm doing something productive. Oh yeah, and plus when I'm working, I'm listening to my audiobook, and so I can kind of always try to concentrate on that. And so it's kind of like when you're on a bike ride, you're always going as hard as you can, hard as you can, hard as you can. There's no like neutral zone. Like you can get bored if you're riding a motorbike because you're just going at cruising speed. But if you're on a bike, you're always going as hard as you can. You're always, the same thing with listening to an audiobook. You're always trying to listen to it, Or washing windows, you're always trying to go as fast as you can. So there's no boredom. And same thing with my website though. When I'm on the website, I'm always trying to work as fast as I can. I'm always trying to make it as good. And there's so many different ideas that you can have that I can always have that idea, always have that idea. So now I can feel my brain opening, and then I can exercise my brain and pump my brain, and I can try to remember that. And so that's fulfilled. And so that's what I would call success. Now, it was funny because I was accused a few years back of like not being successful, like, "Fuck you, motherfucker, you look at me, I'm married, I can't play with my kid right now," and it's like, well, if you think you're so much more successful than me, man, why are you so angry with me? That I'm just minding my own business, uploading a video talking about something, like maybe you're not as successful as you think you are. So, but like, yeah, success in society, so I have like 4,800 subscribers, and other people have a lot more subscribers and make more money than I do. I make about $50 a month with YouTube and nothing with my website. But I don't want to be more successful in that way right now because I'm not done with my website. Like who wants to release their product before it's finished? Because then it's kind of like you have pre-saturation, and then it's done. There's not going to be as much as much positive first impressions and as much of overall people clinging to it. Now that has a lot less to do with my website than like a normal thing. A normal thing like say a highway or a movie or an album would be disastrous, or like a computer thing, hardware would be disastrous if they released it before it was done. My website, I don't care if people look at my website before it's done, but it's not worth it to me to wish that more people were looking at it, I would be making more money, but I don't need more money. I don't have money. I don't worry about money. I have enough money because I don't spend any money on anything except for weed, and I have enough money for my weed, so I'm not worrying about that. So there's really nothing to stress about or worry about or to feel like I'm being pushed back or hindered in any way. And so I feel 100% successful on that. Now, if I'm going to talk about greater amount of success in society, like if you're a competitive person, you want to be an influential person in society, okay, well, let's compare myself to the successful people in society. Let's compare myself to Cenk Uygur, because I watch Young Turks all the time. It's the only YouTube channel that I watch, because I try to listen to my audiobook, or just not listen to anything going out, or lately, but yeah, so the only YouTube is Young Turks, and I love Young Turks. I think Cenk Uygur is successful. Like, he grew up poor and now owns his own business and makes enough money to, travel back and forth to, East Coast, West Coast, raise 2 kids, have a house, and LA is probably making good money. Gets all those hits on all those workers and all the people he talks to, a bunch of friends, a lot of so many hits, a lot of social clout. When he says something, people listen to him. He knows a lot of things. People listen to. People ask his advice. Like ask Cenk, that kind of stuff. So how would I compare to him in regard to social success in society? Well, right now, he's got like 1.5 million subscribers, and I've got like 4,000. So he's a little bit more successful in that area. But you see, so number one, he's 5 years older than I am. No, but in his business, he's a lot farther along in his particular business. I think he'd been going for like 20 years or whatever. And I was doing other things before I started working on my website. But I guess the other things I was doing kind of will play into my website. But I haven't come out yet. So if I'm going to compare myself to Cenk Uygur, I should compare myself the 45-year-old me or the 50-year-old me. You know what I mean? The me after my product has hit the market me to the Cenk Uygur. In best case scenario, let's compare that me to him, and then compare the success. Even though it's fantasy, but the thing is that I don't, I'm not there. You know what I mean? Like I'm still arriving there. So why would you compare somebody before they get there? Like if Cenk Uygur already got to the end of the time trial, I'm still in the race. Why would you try to predict my time if I haven't even arrived yet? So anyway, but anyway, I'm going to answer your question. I'll compare I'll predict my time trial time, and then I'll compare that to Cenk Uygur, according to my current trajectory. So, in the future, let's go 20 years in the future. Okay, 20 years in the future, I'll be 60. I'll be fresh out of the army. I'll be ready to, I'll be trying to get myself involved in the social success part of things. He'll be 65. He'll be like Bill O'Reilly. He'll be up there giving his orders to everybody and all that. He'll have all his followers. So probably by then, they will have taken up all of the chunks of Fox News will be gone. MSN, CNN, all that gone. The big bad daddy will be Young Turks. He'll be like all world famous and all that. and then there'll be other knockoffs. You know, that'll be like the main. But you know, but see, when the world's more utopian, they don't have to make fun of stupid ass politicians. So maybe they'll kind of fade off into the limelight. You know, because that's kind of what they're. But no, but and then analyzing politics or whatever. So anyway, so let's compare that to me in 20 years. Okay, so me in 20 years, my website's done. Okay, so I have my timeline website. I got my audiobook website up there. I've done all of my trips, you know, mixing the website with the trip. I know the subjects of all the books. I'm like Mr. Omniscient Man, and I've had all those request videos and stuff. Like, yeah, at that point, I will have been a much more well-rounded person than Cenk, with a lot more body of work that will last farther into the future. You know, like, for example, if comparing a magazine, you know, or even an online magazine, comparing an online magazine to my website is kind of like comparing a you know, like a paper cup to a glass cup. Oh man, I had the perfect analogy, but oh yeah, it's kind of like let's get biblical. It's kind of like comparing a house built on sand to a house built on a foundation of stone. My website is built on a foundation of stone because everything is centered on solid foundations that will never change. My homepage with my you know, sports, about me, this, that, the next thing. It's there, it's solid, looks the same every time. You go into it, and then you can go into it, and you go into it, and you can find the subjects which are already there. With the normal online blog, newspaper, or whatever website that people have, it's kind of like scroll technology. You know, it's like scroll technology was old technology in the day. And then that would advance to book technology, because with book technology, which came around the time of Christianity, when they pinned all the different books together, I think that's what motivated it. So you could just jump to whatever book you want, you know, time travel to here and that. And that's what life is about now. It's just being able to get from here to here instantaneously, you know. Like if I want to know something about Kyle, what does Kyle know about this? Well, I don't know. Let's go to his website. Boom, then you know. You can't do that with somebody else who has a blog website, because it will be interspersed throughout their writings in the scroll format. You'd have to like roll down the scroll, roll up the scroll forever to get. You can't jump there. You know, because they would have these reoccurring themes, kind of like the Young Turks. They have the reoccurring thing of they hate cops. Well, here's another video, we hate cops. Here's another video, we hate cops. Here's another video, we hate. But they don't have the mission statement. They don't have the okay, we don't like cops because of this and this and this and this and here and here, and with the diagrams on the website and everything. That then everything kind of builds on, and everything that was built and was put there and written there originally stays there for eternity, just the way it was put there in the first place. You know, it's like, you know, I don't know if people realize, people need to think about it more, but how history works is that whatever happens, people think, oh, you're gone forever or whatever. You're not gone forever. You stay in history forever. It's etched in time forever. And so it's the same thing. Whatever the fuck I was talking about, because I totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, what was even oh, comparing yourself, competitive, right. Yeah. So, oh my God, I totally lost my, I'm too high. So yeah, you want to be fulfilled to do whatever you can think of doing. Oh my God, I was on such a roll. So was that all I was going to think about though? I was going to talk about? Oh, hang on. Person. I guess that's it. Yeah, just came to a screeching halt in the middle of a thought. Yeah, so you want to be fulfilled. Oh wait, I was comparing myself to Cenk Uygur. That's right, the Young Turks. Yeah, oh yeah, the Matrix. Yeah, because my I'm glad I didn't turn the video off, because my channel is like my website is etched in stone. So if ever I add something, like a new idea or whatever, I would just put it on the list of ideas. You know, like if you go to my page on my website, all the video pages, you look at my videos, if I ever have a request or this or that, I just put it within the section. There it is. It's not scrolled. Somebody can find it. You can't go, okay, so like with a normal, like, you know, blog, newspaper, website, Huffington Post or something, it's just day by day, day by day by day by day, you know, and the only, if you wanted to study, it would be a good tool for learning to go back to see what was happening on this day. But that's the only tool it's good for. What was happening on this day? That's it. It's not like a map that takes it to the next level. It's not like creating a new language, you know. Like with me, with my fonts and my color coding and everything, I'm creating a new language. I'm like, you know, I'm like Thoth, creating just building it out of thin air because the technology just came. So. That is what, oh my God, I lost my train of thought again. That's what gives you fulfillment is when you're really maximizing and growing. And so, you know, who's the most successful? Yeah, you would say somebody with the most money who's done the most is the most successful. I'd say somebody who has the most talent and is utilizing all of that talent would be the most successful. If you have less talent and you're utilizing all of your talent, then you're still successful, but just lesser so because you have lesser talent, you know. But so, you know, I guess it's a percentage. Somebody who has 500 units of talent and is only using 490 is still more successful than somebody who has only 250 units of talent but is using 249 or whatever. But if you're only using 50% of your talent, even though if you're using more talent and more influence, you're still not you know, utilizing as much of your percentage of your talent, then you could feel like it was a waste, and you could have regret, and that could end up knocking you down and making you less successful, less fulfilled than somebody who actually accomplished less. But yeah. So that would be him. Social success. Oh yeah. So I would, if I was comparing myself, so I would consider myself to be more socially successful because I have most social influence. You know, social success. The more socially successful somebody is, the more social influence they have, the more change. Like if this person goes over here, everybody fucking goes over here, follows them. If they go over here, they all go over here. That's a leader. That's somebody who's successful. A news person isn't going to do that. You have to be like somebody who invents something new, a new language, like me. I make this, and then everybody go, okay, we like that, because they're kind of dangling here. They don't have anything to latch onto. They go, oh, that, we like it. So they latch, and it grows, and it grows. But who are they growing it around? They're growing it around the person who invented it. The person who had the original mind. It's the originality. And so, so after me, I'm out there, and I'm I say all this stuff, and so all these people giving all these ideas. And then all these knockoff websites from